We are at 25 Murray Street, Rudall and Rudall Lawyers, which was once called the Southern Jewel of Murray Street. We're here to have a look at a basement that isn't actually a basement in one of Gawler's oldest and most grandest buildings. A building that you guys might actually fly past as it is on a tight bend, but we're going to get in closer and have a nice look.
This building was built in 1859 and it's one of the oldest still standing buildings right here in Gawler. It started out as the Bank of South Australia, then it became the Union Bank, and in 1928 it was taken over by Rudall and Rudall. It has a few interesting stories and an interesting history, but right now we're going to take you underground.
We're here in the basement of Rudall and Rudall. We've made a town, not strictly a basement, but I can tell you that we are surrounded here by lots of documents and ledgers. We've got a nice hard stone floor, so it is quite dusty around here, and there's a real sort of maybe a formidable sense down here. It's very quiet. You can't hear a thing from the outside world. If that door, if that slab upstairs was shut, you wouldn't hear us and we would not be able to see a thing. But we are going to flick it over to Alan Tiller now, and he's going to tell you exactly what it is that we're inside here.
So Daniel, we are inside a rainwater tank. So this is the very first part built of this building as far as I know. The building was built in 1859. It was designed by Thomas English and it was built by Henry Brown. And this little bit here is very much solid. It's very dark and dank. It's not actually wet though. Obviously it's been very dry for a long time, decades. As Daniel said, there is all kinds of things here, ledgers, money tins, obviously things that were surplus to what was needed upstairs, so this was a good storage spot. Like you said, it has a vibe to it. It is dead silent. The walls themselves, they look to be probably 1.5 feet thick, and then it's coated in plaster. You can still see one of the pipes over this side, and this pipe looks like an exit pipe. And above us is an entry pipe for the water. This was actually built to stop you getting into the safe, believe it or not. So right above us is the original safe. And the idea was that if someone tried to dig through the ground alongside Rudall and Rudall, they would hit this first and they would be flooded out. So it's a security system, 1860 security system.
Yeah. So there you are, we are in an old water tank. If anybody did try and dig down here, they wouldn't have been very happy about it. This is one of the best basements I've been in. It's very exciting. It's real Indiana Jones kind of stuff. Why is this stuff down here? Who knows? Rudall and Rudall and the Gawler Cultural Heritage Centre are hoping to one day get all this stuff back upstairs, documented, scanned, photographed. And then I guess the stone slate will be put down and this room will sit here for another 100 years doing nothing. But for now, we're going to go up the ladder and we'll see you upstairs.
I really find it fascinating from a perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we are on the ground floor in what is known as the Bills Room, and I just wanted to take a moment to tell you a ghost story or two. So one of the things reported in this particular building is the smell of tobacco smoke. It doesn't seem to have a source, and the people who smell it just report it's very, very strong, and it kind of wafts through and then it leaves. But another interesting story happened here in the mid-2000s when one of the lawyers had a client in another room. She left to go to the bathroom, and as she came back through the foyer, she noticed a gentleman sitting on a chair in a corner. Now, the gentleman was dressed in formal attire with a black waistcoat, and he was sitting there smoking a pipe. As she went back into the interview room, she said to the lawyer, "There's a man out there and he's smoking a pipe, but there shouldn't be anyone in here." And as she said that, she looked up and she saw a picture of 3 of the Rudalls, and she pointed at the one that she thought it was, which was RJ Rudall. Unknown to her, but known to the lawyer, RJ Rudall was a very heavy pipe smoker. Now, the chair that he was sitting in, the spirit, is this chair right here. So there is no way she could have known that the man in the corner was RJ Rudall. The only verifying factor for that was the lawyer knew RJ's history and that he was a very heavy pipe smoker. It is one of the only ghost stories that comes from this building. This building goes back to 1859, and it's really quite unusual for a building of this age not to have more ghost stories. When you consider from 1859 to the 1990s, people lived upstairs as it was a residence, and therefore people probably passed away in this building.
仕事の後に目が覚める何かしなくちゃ仕事の後に仕事の後に目が覚める何かしなくちゃ
So there you are, guys. That was a look at Rudall and Rudall, one of the first basements that we ever got to look into, and what an absolute adventure that was. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank, of course, Nick for letting us have a look around there and supplying the ladder, and of course Erin for doing all the filming work, and Alan for all of his awesome information and tales. I'd also like to thank the artists that have contributed to our exhibition. That was Rudall and Rudall. I hope you guys liked it.